What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm JLAG.
And I'm NB.
And we are recapping and reviewing Riverdale Season 3, Episode 3. And it's called
As Above, So Below. And don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending because we are going to go through our recap roundups, our best moments, our MVPs, our best lines, and we're going to go through the roundups that you guys sent us on Twitter. So make sure you stick around for that.
I keep sending them out. I guess you won't know until I was like, just keep sending them.
Yeah, we'll just keep checking our Twitter as we go through it.
And for anybody who's just joining us for the very first time, thank you so much for coming through. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And for our returning listeners, thanks for coming back. Can't wait to get into this episode. Hey, girl, hey.
So episode 3, you know, we're 3 episodes in. What do you think? How did you feel about the episode?
Okay, I'm just going to start right off the top, like just coming in right
like
hot.
Come through right now.
I thought it was good, but I think that it's like the first filler we're getting of the season.
Okay. So you thought it was a filler?
I know that we got, you know, the introduction to the Speakeasy. I guess it just felt a lot more mild than the last 2 episodes, and I don't know. Did you feel that way, or maybe I'm just
I definitely
expecting a lot?
I definitely felt like it was very fast. It was a lot of shit happened. And I think I was going into it like not wanting to like this episode or like kind of finding things not to like, but I really liked it. I really liked the whole Speakeasy thing. I think I like loved the way it all came and turned out.
Sure. I don't know. I'm not saying that I didn't like the episode. All I'm saying is I just thought that it felt it didn't. I don't know. I guess
I don't think it was a filler. I don't think it was a filler because I think a lot of shit does happen. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't like the worst episode ever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I don't know. It didn't feel as fast as I thought it was gonna be, or like there was a lot of. Okay. I guess the one thing that I'll say is like it was a lot of lead up. It was a lot of lead into like a bigger thing, aka episode 4, aka the flashback episode.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just.
And that's totally
more excited
fair.
about that.
Yeah, for sure. Like definitely excited for the flashback. But like, I think even just the way they set up the Speakeasy, it all just felt right. I don't know. Like Archie's storyline felt fine. Like it was paced okay. Like I don't know. It felt okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay,
let's get into
the episode.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So Archie, it starts off with Archie in solitary, and he's getting woken up by the warden, or I guess like the officer, and he right off the top says no. And so I guess we're assuming that he gets an option to decide whether or not he wants to be tapped as the next Mad Dog.
Yeah. And like they just keep using the word tapped, and I'm like, that's a pretty like sexual term, but like fine, whatever.
Tap that ass. But yeah, he's basically like, no, I don't want to do it. And then he's like, okay, I'll see you in 3 weeks. And he just closes the door on him.
Yeah.
So it seems that Archie's been in solitary confinement for 3 weeks, which is a really long time.
Can we just quickly talk about the conditions of this juvenile detention center? Like,
yes,
like someone please
awful.
tweet us and like tell us if you guys freaking work in a juvenile detention center, because like this place looks like it should be shut down, or like it looks like it's from The Walking Dead. Like it doesn't even look like it should be open. Everything is old and like dusty, and like it looks like from the 1950s, and I get that's the vibe of Riverdale, but like it's just nothing felt authentic. Like I feel like none of this would be really freaking happening in real life. Like I get it, it's a TV show, it's gonna be a reach, but like all these things that were happening to Archie's episode, I just felt like it was just too far-fetched. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that they're trying to dramatize the whole situation. They're like, whoa, like he's in jail now, but he feels like he's in a legit jail. First of all, he's not in juvie. This is like not a joke at all.
No, I think he's in juvie. I think they said like you're in a juvenile detention center.
That's what I mean. It feels like he's like in a legit jail, like one hundo, like adult jail. Yeah, you know, like crazy. You forget that these guys are supposed to be like in jail for petty crimes. They're literally in jail.
So he taps him for what exactly? Like what happens after that? He taps him and then he's like, "Come through." And
then he said no. And then he's like, no, I'm not down for that. Then right off the top, thank you, Riverdale editors. Thank you, Riverdale producers. We get our phallus moment right in the first like 2 minutes of the episode.
I'm sorry, what phallus moment? Which phallus moment? I don't know any phallus moment. What happened? Because
what do you mean?
Nothing happened. So how was that a phallus moment? Like,
oh, you're calling out shade, girl.
Down.
Bye.
What a let. They're literally posted up in bed, no kissing. Like mild hand holding. We didn't see them smushing or like ending at nothing. Like there was nothing. They're just basically sleeping in a bed. You guys amp up this shit so hard, and then like there's like he didn't even kiss her. Like take that in. They made us wait like 2 seasons for this.
So here's the tea. Here's the situation. Okay, number one, I was not mad at it. I was so down for it, but I can totally understand your point because at the end of the day, like they're bringing Phallus up 100. I think the one thing that we have to remember is with the demographic of the show is that like it's a teen show.
But like everyone's out here excited for Phallus. Like
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like half the fandom is down for Phallus, and no one's saying like I don't want to see these parents make out and like have sex.
Right.
But I think that just like based on the whole show's demographic on a general level, they're like we can't get you guys all super sexy. So. I'm just saying, like,
and it was super cute. Like he was like being all like charming, and he was like cracking jokes, and she was like hee 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 hee. Like it was cute, but it was just like you guys made us wait this long. I just wanted a bit more, like something a bit more. Like
I get that. That's totally fair.
Yeah,
I totally understand what you're saying, but I guess like we got what we got. We do find out a couple of things. The first thing we get to see is where Alice's serpent tattoo is. Which is like right up on her thigh. Like it's like the biggest commitment of all time. Like that thigh tattoo.
She was in that shit deep. Like you know that.
Like that, yeah, for sure. And we see a little jelly bean tattoo on FP's chest, which is kind of cute. But then it got me thinking. We tweeted about it last week, and it got me thinking about like where is Jughead's? Like, does he even have one? And like, what does it look like? Is it like a little crown or something? Anyways, we are only 2 points into the episode, so we got to move faster. But I think they give us the timeline, which is like 3 weeks later. So this is 3 weeks later. And Alice is like, "There's been no suicides, no blue lips. Like I think we're good right now." And he's like, "Yes, nice." And then, like parent, just like child, the two. Jughead and Betty are also sleeping together, but they're sleeping in the bunker,
which was so weird to me. I was like, ew, that place looks disgusting. Like it has bed bugs.
I know,
it looked so nasty, and like it has like a bad energy to it. Like some kid just died, and you guys are like fucking in that place. Like what?
I know, like literally Betty's like, do you think it's weird that we're in here? Yes, Betty. Yeah. We think it's weird that you should not be in there. Go find another place to do it.
Jughead's like, "Don't worry, Betty. Like, we just didn't have anywhere else to go. You can go to her house because clearly her mom is at your house screwing your dad. So your house was empty."
I guess is the assumption because he says like, "Oh, FP, my dad is like doing some other stuff."
Yeah, he's like, "My dad's watching me." So is the assumption
that they're like low key like doing stuff together, like Phallus?
Yeah.
Is that the assumption?
I don't know.
Anyways, gotta move on. So they're still talking about the murder, like after they smush, which is kind of weird. But like I guess that's what they get. Like that's what they enjoy. And he says, like Betty basically says, like, "I'm not really sure what the whole situation was. It was so weird that Ben didn't even scream when he jumped out the window." And they're basically concluding that it's a cult. Like it's essentially a cult. And Jughead says every cult has its king, so they just want to find out who the leader is so they can figure this whole situation out. Yeah. Then it cuts to Fred at the jail, and he just wants to see Archie, and the warden denies him because he's like, he started a fight, and Fred was like, "But that was like 3 weeks ago, and like why is this happening right now?" And then the warden's like, I get to decide when he gets to see people, and that's it. And then Fred's like, "Okay, cool. You're going to hear from my lawyer, like, aka my ex-wife."
Where are his parents? Like, I just don't understand, like, how Fred is just doing nothing right now. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, I guess, like, they can't give him a storyline. He's just, like, out doing God knows what. But, yeah, he's just, like, trying to get his son out of jail.
Yeah,
so,
he needs to try harder.
Anyway, so he's cheese, whatever, and then it cuts to Pops, and Betty and Veronica are sitting and chilling, but Veronica is in a bit of a conundrum because she's like, "I'm hemorrhaging money, Betty.
She's like, I'm up to my eyebrows in bells, like
in those thick eyebrows." And Betty's like, "Listen, why don't you open up that speakeasy because it sounds like pretty lit.
She's like, I love this moment. She's like, yeah. She's like, girl, just open up the speakeasy. Like, what are you doing? She's like, oh no, girl, it's already open. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
well, she does say it like pretty reluctantly because she's like, well, you know, like I've had it open for a while, but like I've been waiting for Archie all this time because I wanted him to be there for the opening.
She wants to like dance
which
with
makes
him
sense.
and like, yeah, no, totally. It was so cute. Like she's kind of setting all this stuff up for when he gets out, like he can like come through.
And also we don't have, and I guess the reason why she did it this way is so we don't have to like wait for it to be set up. Like it's already set up by episode 4.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or episode 3.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the speakeasy's ready and Betty's like, open it up. I want to get lit. Let's do this.
What do you think about Betty being like, because Betty was very much like, girl, like do you, boo? Like don't even wait for Archie. Like just start it. What do you think about her kind of having that attitude?
I think that it's helpful. I think as a friend, you want to tell your friend to try to get on with her life. And, you know, she's the best friend. She's the best friend of both of them, I guess, in that sense. Mm-hmm. And she can help like make that connection and say like, Archie would want this for you. And also like, I got you, like, Veronica, I don't want you to have to like mope and be sad all your whole year while he's in jail, you know? Yeah. So I was down for it. Yeah. A part of me was like, if she was a little bit more, if it was Cheryl, I would be worried because I'd be like, she's coming for your man. Yeah. But it's Betty. So like, there ain't no Barchie right now. So I'm sorry about it. Then it cuts to school, and Jughead and Betty are just talking, and they mentioned that there's like a dress code for the speakeasy, which I'm like, okay, it's gonna be like 1920s, obviously. And then they see Ethel, and she's like hugging Evelyn, ever and ever, and she's like, she's like all lit with her, and she's like just talking, and Betty's like, what the hell? Like, how do they even know each other? And then Betty has a conclusion, which I'm sure we all were thinking the same thing. Like, what if the game is connected to the farm?
Right.
And then Betty says, well, let's just talk to Ethel again and we'll be less aggressive. Like, we won't give her a seizure, essentially.
Exactly.
Then it cuts to Pop's Diner and Kevin. And like, Josie. Kevin's there with Josie and Pops is like, you got to dial like 642 and then you got to go inside.
I love how they did this. Cool. It was so effing cool. It's like, they kind of took a page from like the old school bars or the prohibition bars or whatever that like, you know, you have to kind of like dial literally in. Speakeasies. Yeah, it was so cool. I loved it.
Yeah, so our man Reggie is manning the door and he's like, password please. And they're like, I forget what they said, but he gets in. He's like, close enough. He gets in and they're all down there. And the speakeasies, what do you think of this whole speakeasy situation?
Oh my God, I loved it. I think it looked amazing. Like the vibe is totally hot. I just can't believe that like Pops had that huge space like underneath the diner.
Like right underneath.
But okay, cool. I'll believe it, I guess.
Like you just have to run with it at this point. So Veronica's down there and she says, welcome to the Bonne Nuit, which is French for good night. Mm-hmm. And so what did you think of the name? Good night. No, what did you think of the name?
It was okay. It was fine. It was just Veronica trying to be like freaking like shishi.
She's
I
like,
just loved, and I think in this moment she sort of looks at Josie and Kevin, and she's like, "Look, like I have like jobs for you guys," and she's like, "Josie, like you're gonna perform, like you're gonna like be the singer of the speakeasy." And Josie was so lit. She's like, "Yes, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life," and like in that moment, I was like, "I really miss the Pussycats. Like where is
honestly
Val and what was her name again? Oh, Melody. Like." I miss them. And the fact that like there's not even a mention of them, like it's a little weird to me. And I don't know if it's like a logistic thing where like in production they're just like axed out. Like I don't know, maybe their contracts ended and like they didn't get renewed, but like there's not even a mention of like Veronica being like, I tried to get the girls to come here but like they didn't want to sing with you. You know what I mean?
Like they haven't even been in the season so far. It's been 3 episodes
mentioned. In. That's the weird part.
They haven't even mentioned. It's like they literally totally disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah. Like, watch them be the Gargoyle King. Like, they're probably, like, fucking everyone up. Because they're so cheese at everyone.
That. They're just on each other's shoulders, like, just walking around killing people. I'm into it. Anyway, so
she gives that job to Josie. And then she's like, that job to Josie. Kevin, since you're here, like, you can be MC.
Yeah.
No,
and
she for real like, gives him a job.
He's like, sure, I'm down. but only if I get to sing a song from time to time.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to get a song from Kevin. It'll probably be like a sad Sam Smith song to Moose or something,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
I'm just
God.
going to call it right now. But for sure, it's going to be... I mean, I think that people were talking about the fact that Casey Cott didn't get an opportunity to sing enough in
Yeah,
the
'cause
last
I think he's
season
done,
during the
like-
Carrie musical.
Yeah, I think he's done like Broadway shows or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm actually down to hear him sing and like see where they're gonna connect that. But right
I'm
now,
down
at
to
least
do
he's, like,
anything with Kevin other than him being Desperado.
hanging
to
out with
Moose,
Moose.
so,
Yes,
yeah.
me too. Agreed. So then they get a phone call from Pops, and he's like, you got to come upstairs. There's somebody up here to see you. And Veronica goes upstairs, and sure enough, it's Penny Peabody, and she's like, yo, girl, I'm here, and I'm gonna offer you some protection from the ghoulies, or the ghoulies are gonna offer you protection. And she's
Yeah.
like, protection from you though, like. It's like this backwards ass like conversation that she's having. She's basically saying like, we're blackmailing you. Give us money to protect you, because if you don't, then something could go wrong. Like she's like low-key threatening her. And then she's like, go F yourself. And she's like, yeah, it'd be a shame if your Speakeasy and Pop's Diner went down the drain.
Yeah.
And
So she's basically like threatening
that's
her,
it.
like, pay us up, we're gonna protect you, kind of
Right.
thing.
And Veronica's like, I'm not down for that. Then it cuts to jail, and Archie just gets taken away. So he like gets a hood put on his face, and then he gets sent into like some area, and then it shows like two guys fighting in a like empty swimming pool.
Yeah.
And people are standing around them, and they're like fighting, and like they're cheering them on or whatever. And he realizes that one of them is Joaquin, getting his ass like handed to him so hard. And he's like, the warden's like, welcome to the pit. And he threatens Archie kind of low-key, saying, well, look at Joaquin, he looks like he's your friend.
Yeah.
If you want to keep him going, then he's going to have to you're gonna have to switch out and like tap out with him. And then Archie's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then that's it. And then it cuts to like Riverdale, I think.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to them practicing out in the yard. He meets like all the other fighters. And they're like, we gotta like practice or whatever. Like, welcome to the fighting pit, friends, or something. I don't know. And then he's like, I wonder what happened to Mad Dog. And then the sheriff is like, stop talking or whatever. So it was just a really quick scene, but I guess we get introduced to like his new life as a like Fight Club fighter.
Yeah, like the
like
fighter.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think? So before we keep going, what do you think of this whole situation being set up
Like the whole
with Archie and
the whole fighting
Yeah.
thing?
yeah.
I think at first I was like, okay, this is just stupid. But then by the end of it, I was like, you know what? I don't mind it. It's giving him something to do. And like, otherwise, what was he going to be doing? You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to play football like the whole time. So like, it just kind of made sense, you know?
I don't know. Like maybe just give KJ Appa a break and like focus on other
No,
stuff.
because
Like,
I
don't
think
know.
this episode, I really felt bad for him. Like, I was like, by the end, I was like, this poor kid. Like, everyone's like getting so lit and like having fun at the Speakeasy, and he's just like getting his ass beat. Like, it just made me feel so bad for him.
We'll talk about it after, like as we get through the rest of the episode. But I feel no ways about the fact that he's missing out on life right now because of the fact that he got his ass in jail because of himself.
No, I know, it's true. It's just like seeing it happen.
So like,
it's like sad.
Literally have zero sympathy for him, and we'll talk about it at the end of the episode. But anyway, so yeah, he's in jail. And then it cuts to school, and Veronica goes and sees Cheryl and Tony, and they're like super lovey-dovey. Like Shoney's like on like
so
its
cute.
best life
Yeah,
right now.
seriously.
And they're just like living their best life. And Veronica says, I need your help to pass out some of these flyers for our Speakeasy. If you do this, then you guys will get in for free. So like this Speakeasy is like a legit business situation. And she's like, you guys can get in for free. And then make sure you bring Sweet Pea and Fangs,
Yeah.
like $100.
Which, by the
What
way,
did you
they
think
didn't
of-
even show up. I didn't even see them there.
I think they were like in the background while
Oh.
Josie was singing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like I think there is like one shot of them just like being like yas, and like Sweet Pea's like yas, my girl's up there. But yeah, I felt like it was really random that they singled those two people out though specifically.
Yeah.
But sure, fine, whatever. Shoney's doing that, and then it cuts to Betty Jugs and like they're talking to Ethel in class, and
Ethel
they
just
apologize
doesn't look
essentially.
good. Like she looks like she's not doing good right now.
Yeah, I mean she's cheesed probably at the same time, because like her fake boyfriend is dead.
Yeah.
But also like I don't know, she went to the hospital because she had seizures. So they apologize, say like we were just trying to help, and then she's like, yeah, like you helped my boyfriend jump out a window.
Yeah,
I'm like, your
killed
boyfriend was
him.
insane, like obviously.
And then Betty's like, okay, but she's like, we saw you like talking to what's her face, Evelyn. And then like Ethel's eyes lit up. She's like, Evelyn's the best. Like we're like best friends. And Betty's like, bitch, what? Like she just came to school like last week. Like how are you gonna be best friends with her?
Yeah, and she's like, she's helping. She's got a club like about the farm, and she's just like being helpful and stuff.
And apparently, like,
Evelyn's
like a doctor because she's like, don't take the pills, like, don't take medication. I don't know what kind of cult this is. It sounds like a you know what cult, but I'm not gonna say it because.
Oh yeah, true. It definitely sounds like
like that cult.
It rhymes with
Ientology.
Wyentology. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. And then it cuts to so Jughead starts asking a bunch of questions about the
so basically
this whole situation.
What they want, like basically what Jughead wants is the rule book / the scripture of this game, right? Because he's like, once we get the rule book, he's like, we can establish like kind of maybe how to stop it or like what leads to what,
right?
And obviously his only way to get that rule book is like to ask Ethel to be like, yo, can I have yours? Like obviously you have one, right? And then in that moment she like turns up. She's like, my name is Princess Etheline. She's like, don't even call me that. You're not even worthy to call me that. So she's like,
well, yeah, that's what he's trying to like move in and be like, yo, like we heard something about being reunited in the kingdom. Like, can you please help us, Princess Etheline? She's like, how dare you call me Princess Etheline? Like, you cannot say that to me.
You cannot have this king scripture. Like, it was really weird. Like, she was talking in like all the terminology of the game.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was also like kind of cute because you can see like Jughead's like trying really hard to like ask her for help. He's like, I want to be worthy, but like Loki, he like doesn't care about this game.
And then I think she chooses Jughead. She's like, okay, like she's like, come through. She's like, come tonight. And she's like, whatever, like I'll show you. And like Betty's still in the background, and she's like, no, sorry, Betty, like you're never gonna be worthy. So like whatever, like don't even try.
It was such a tight moment. She literally was like, no matter how hard you try, you'll never be a part of it.
And I was like, that's
like
so
Betty's
savage.
like, damn.
Betty's like, whatever, I got other stuff to do anyways.
She fully got denied,
like,
rejected
guys,
by Princess Etheline.
Ethel was just on a next level. Like I don't know where Ethel, like I know where she came from, but like she just, I don't know.
She's coming in hard. She's coming in real hard. She's
like,
feeling herself real good.
When they were writing her character this season in the writer's room, they're like, yo, they took Ethel's name. They like freaking just threw it on the wall. And they're like, this bitch is going to go through everything and mess up with everyone. Like, she's just crazy.
It's
like,
so true.
She's all over the
insane.
place.
Then it cuts to the Pop's diner, and Reggie is shirtless for no apparent reason. Why is he shirtless?
Like, he's literally bringing down boxes.
You're unboxing stuff. Like, there's no need for you to have no shirt on, but
so
we're down. But like,
him.
I'm just saying.
I love him in this
Like,
role.
it's just hilarious. So then they're opening up the boxes, and then suddenly they see that, like, instead of the shipment that they wanted to get, they're getting Jingle Jangle. So it's like all like the straws that we saw from last season. Yeah. And they're like, what the F are these doing here? We're getting set up. And then suddenly out of nowhere, they get a phone call from Pop saying, oh, yo, like, Sheriff Minetta's just upstairs. You need to come upstairs. And then now, like, Reggie has to get rid of it because he's, like, freaking out. He's like, yo, like, I can't get seen with all this, like, all these drugs. Obviously, like, my mom's going to get mad at me. He's like, my mom is going to get mad at me. Yeah. She's like, get rid of it. I'll try to, like, keep him upstairs for a little bit longer. Yeah. Like, stall him. And so then he meets up with Veronica, and he's like, I'm doing an inspection, and
he's basically sent by freaking Hiram or whoever, because he comes down and he like right away goes for those boxes and he opens them up, and like it's like plastic cutlery, so like I guess Reggie did work and like actually switched it out, and he's like, oh, he's like, there's no contraband. He's like, fine. He's like, well, he's like, you know, I still need my payout, and like you gotta like his whole conversation, I was like, you're talking to a 16-year-old girl right now. Like,
yeah,
this is so weird. How does she even own her own business? Like, this is so weird. The cops asking her for a payout. Like, I don't know.
Like, all right, okay.
I don't know.
So anyway, he dips, and then Reggie and Veronica are like, "Yo, that was obviously my dad. Like,
Yeah.
like we gotta
He's
figure
like,
the situation out."
crazy.
It's like, your dad is setting you up. She's like, true, me too. I know that. And so then it cuts to Betty at school, and she's looking for Evelyn in the
peer
like
group.
club that she made.
Yeah, so apparently like Evelyn
And-
makes this like next level like peer group to like help students. And so Betty's like idea is to like kind of infiltrate that and, you know, learn more about Evelyn, I guess.
Right. And so she tries to kind of low-key trick her, just like Jughead was doing for Ethel, saying,
She brought pizza dough.
"Oh, I like really need your help. I have to, you know, like I've been having seizures. I want to get rid of the meds." So she's kind of leading into like what she might be looking for, and Evelyn's like down. She's like, "Okay, cool. Like we can like do something." All she really wants to do is meet like the cult leader, aka like Edgar, her dad, but it's just kind of like this is the way that she's going about it.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to Fight Club, and I want to call it Fight Club, but it's basically them like whatever fighting in the pits, and Archie is going against his first opponent, and everybody's like lit or whatever, and then he punches the guy, and he like dies like right away.
It's a
Like
total
he,
knockout.
like,
Yeah.
he's like KO.
Yeah.
And everybody's like dead silence, and then the warden's face is like stone cold, and I didn't understand why until later, but
Yeah.
he's just cheesed because like it ended so
Yeah.
quickly. And then as he finishes, he like gets back into the like into his jail cell,
yeah.
and the sheriff is like, "Yo, what's your like what do you want, like what do you want to eat, because like now you got a treat because like you're like the new mad dog or whatever." And so he's so like lit, he gets everybody pops from Pop's Diner.
It was so cute.
And so it was cute, but also like I don't really care. So then he passed like he passed around like all this stuff to all of his friends, his like new friends, and the guy mentions, like one of them mentions, like, did the warden get cheese that you know the fight ended early? And Archie's like, "What are you talking about?" And then we find out like why that's the situation. And then it cuts to Shoni, and they're like just taking pictures in the dumpster, like in the dump, like they're just like
where
hanging
were
out.
they?
Like
I didn't understand where they were.
I think that's like the Serpent new head, like the new
hangout?
headquarters for the Serpents. Yeah. So she's sitting on like Jughead's chair. There's a little crown behind her, and she's like Instagramming and stuff. It's kind of cute, but like kind of unnecessary, but sure. And then it cuts to Veronica walking in, and she's like, "Hey girls, I need your help again. Like Penny came through my like place, and I know that it has to do with my dad, but I also know that Jughead has been kind of like low-key searching for, you know, some leverage against the ghoulies all summer, so I wanted to talk to him." And Shoni's like, "Don't worry, I got you, girl. Actually, as a matter of fact, I know some information that they opened something in the basement of the White Worm, and people are saying that it is like a jingle jangle production facility."
Yeah, like a lab.
And so she's like, "Because I used to work there as an underage waitress, I can get you guys in, and don't worry about it." Yeah. So then we cut to like one of the most hilarious moments of the entire episode.
I love when these
like literally, it's like the exact same.
They're wearing the same outfits for
like
real.
same exact outfits.
When they
like
saved
literally
when
the
they
exact same
saved Cheryl last season, they're wearing the same outfit. It's like she was wearing something else, so she went
It's
home.
like the swoopy scoop.
Yeah,
like
she went home, changed her current outfit, put on this scoop neck black like tight like freaking outfit, and then was like, "Okay, I'm down to go to the White Room now." Like I died. I was like, these guys,
like 100%, like the writers did it on purpose.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
they knew how ridiculous it was, so they did it.
And
again.
I love the three of them together. Like I don't know what it is about the three of them, but they're so freaking funny together.
Yeah, they're just like
yeah. So they go,
like
so they get into the White Worm, and then we sort of see the shot that we saw in the promo with like Tony snapping a photo of the lab. So like we see the Jingle Jangle lab. It's there. She takes a picture to have like the proof, and then.
So the one thing that I didn't really understand, because like we see it later on with like the photos that she presents to Hiram, but it's like you didn't put any people in the pictures, so really you're just like Wikipedia.
It's because he owns the building, so like as long as he owns the building, he's guilty, right? Because like, there's drugs on the premises.
No, but what I'm saying is like the pictures look like she could just Google like cocaine and like screen grab a picture. She's like, I got pictures of you. Like, it's not like it says like white worm in the background. It's just like close up shots of like bags of drugs. Like, I don't know. Like, she should have like thrown somebody in there. She literally waited for everybody to leave and then she took pictures. I'm like, wow, you're an idiot. So anyway, true. Whatever. Well, so then it cuts to the bunker and Jughead is like ready, and so is Ethel.
Ethel's
she's literally
ready,
so
she's
lit.
Like ready to like get it in with Jughead, because like that shit looked like a romantic dinner setting. Like there was candles everywhere, and like he was like leading up to this, but she was like, I'm ready for you, Jughead.
Like anybody watching like you on Lifetime, it's like the same situation. It's like lit everywhere. It's like candles everywhere. And I'm like, this is a fire hazard for sure. And she's like, welcome to your first game. And I'm like, oh god, she looks like a crazy person. She's wearing like
just keeps looking
she's wearing like a fake crowd.
Yeah, like she
like, come on guys, let's just book it at this point. She is the freaking like gargoyle. Okay, let's move on with our lives. Right now. So then it cuts to the Cooper residence, and the whole farm is basically there.
Right before it cuts to them, she sits him down, and she's like, choose your character, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna choose like this guy named the Hellcaster. She's like, I knew you were gonna choose him, the Hellcaster. That was like Ben's old character. I was like, oh, here we go, bitch. Like, here she's gonna go, like, comparing her ex-boyfriend with this guy now. This girl cannot get any crazier. Like, God.
Like, she's so extra. I don't understand what's happening. So, anyway, whatever. So then it cuts to the Cooper residence, and Betty gets home, and she's like, Mom, why are there so many people parked out the front? And then she realizes that the entire farm is, like, sitting inside the freaking living room. And she's like, oh, hi guys. And Evelyn's like, oh, I thought it was, she's like, oh, I just thought I would bring everybody in because this can be your first like testimonial. And Betty's like, okay, cool, everybody's here, but like, where's Edgar? And then like
everyone starts
Alice
laughing.
Like, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, everyone's like,
she's like, you can't just meet her like that. Like,
she's like, there's levels to this shit.
Like, basically.
She's like, there's levels. You can't just go and meet the master. She's like, you gotta like pass your level. I'm like, this shit is like Scientology. This is too crazy. Like, this is like
basically it's Scientology. Yeah. So then it turns out that like they know all of her deepest, darkest secrets. Like, she knows all about the murder that happened in the house.
Yeah, like one of the things that you have to do to like cleanse yourself. It's so effing weird. To cleanse yourself,
it's Scientology, guys.
Yeah. Like, to cleanse yourself, you have to tell everything like you've done in your life that's like been bad. So of course, like Alice just spills her effing guts about everything that's happened in season 2 and season 1.
But like, it's pretty dark-ish. But then we also find out something that Betty isn't aware of just yet, and she's like, so because Betty kind of loses it, she was like, oh, you're telling all these secrets? Like, how about we talk about the fact that there was like 2 kids that died just 3 weeks ago, and like they were playing this game, Griffins and Gargoyles. Like, why don't we talk about that, huh? And Evelyn's like, actually, the first time that we heard about Griffins and Gargoyles was from your mom. So she got the tea and we got the tea too, and you don't got the tea. So she got pretty cheesed about that. And then Betty's like, Mom, how do you know about that? And then Alice is like, honestly, never mind. You shouldn't be part of this club. Like, you're weird. And then Betty starts to feel like really faint, and then she like has to go upstairs, and everybody's like, what's going on with her? What do you think that whole situation was though? Like, Betty about to faint again? I
don't know. I think it's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like when she talks about the game, she gets too overwhelmed. But then I'm like, what would why would that make her faint?
She has like high blood pressure, basically.
She did tell Evelyn before, or was it Ethel, that she was like weaning off the medication, or was that just a lie?
Right. I don't know. I feel like it was just a lie to like get in on it, like to get in on that situation. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what her drug situation is right now. Like, Betty, are you taking drugs?
Yo, let us know. Like, 1 or 2 pills a night. Like, what's the thing? Like, what's the
holler? Tweet us out. Codeine. So then it cuts to Jughead and Ethel again, and they're in the bunker, and now he has to decide like which goblet to drink from. So she like pulls off this like little cloth, and she's like, drink one of the from one of the goblets. And he's like, are you fucking crazy? I'm not gonna drink one of those. Like that, like one of them has cyanide in it.
And she's like, shut up, Hellcaster, you gotta listen to me and kiss me on the lips.
Yeah, basically. But she's like, yeah, before she says that, she's basically because she basically does say that. But before she said that, she's like, no, it's not cyanide, it's gargoyle blood, and this and this. It's just like some dumb shit happening. And then finally he's like, okay, fine, like I'll drink the damn cup. He chooses like the griffin on like the cup, and then he drinks it and his lips turn blue and he's fine. He's
so
like,
I don't
I'm
get
good.
it. Like, was he about to kill himself here? Like, was he actually that stupid?
I know. I was like, what are the options? Basically, you either die or you don't die.
You have blue lips. Like, I don't, like, what was he trying to accomplish? Like
like if you want to, like, are you on like doing 911 on speed dial? Like, what are you doing to make sure that you don't have to die for this freaking handbook? So anyway, he doesn't die, and then he's like, okay, give me like the freaking handbook, and she's like, no, you can't do that until you kiss me. And
she's like, give me your lips.
Yeah, give me those blue lips, though. And he's like, that's not part of the rules. And she's like, you have to kiss the princess. So you have to do it right now. I'm telling you right now.
It's not in the book because it's a secret rule. So you need to still kiss me.
Basically, she is the gargoyle king. She is manipulating everybody into doing stuff for her.
She's basically Sierra Burgess, but like the evil, the demonic
like
version
murderer.
of it. Because she went from like, I'm a catfish you to like, I'm a kill you till you kiss me.
I'm a kill you.
Like, I can't believe how they've blended her Stranger Things character and like her Sierra Burgess character and made Ethel. Like, it's pretty fucking crazy. Like, it's actually crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, for sure. So then, anyway, he finally gets a handbook after he kisses her, like for a very brief moment. No one was shipping that ship at all.
I think the Riverdale account was like, Ethelhead, and everyone's like, no. Like, shut up.
Like, please stop.
Next scene, please.
Next. But it's not the next scene because Ethel like low-key like slowly backs backward and she starts drinking the other goblet. She literally like tiptoes backward while he's like because he's reading the book and he's like, oh yeah, like, Betty's gonna like love this shit. And then she like drinks the damn poison.
She's like, gulp.
And she's like, I did it, y'all. I did it.
That's what happens when you're too thirsty.
Guys, wait for the gif. We're doing it right now.
But
yeah, so she starts to like feel faint because she literally drank cyanide.
She literally chugged poison. Like, forget sipping on that vodka. Like, freaking, she like chugged that shit.
Yeah, she's crazy. This girl is insane.
So yeah, he takes her to the hospital. Like, thank God.
Yeah. Then it cuts to her at the hospital, and she's like chained to the bed because now she's on suicide watch.
I can't. She's like, why am I here? Why do I have? He's like, girl, you're on suicide watch. Like, you freaking drank a bottle of cyanide.
She's like, suicide? I'm like, yes, suicide. You tried to kill yourself.
So like, do they not just like? I almost feel like they're in this fog. Like, they don't remember what they're doing.
I don't think that's the situation. I think she just is so delusional as to what she thinks that she's doing that she thinks that by drinking the poison, she's going to go to the kingdom of heaven or whatever. Like, whatever. So,
I heard that before.
Jughead's like, okay, well, listen, the game is over now. Like, I have a handbook. Like, we're not doing this anymore. You're like, this is it. And Ethel's like, no. It's only the beginning. And then, she says like, you're now like a hellraiser, or like, what's it called, a hellcaster. And she's like, you are now worthy enough to spread his gospel. She sounds fucking between that and the farm like a can. So then it cuts to the lodge residence, and we see like a standoff or like a showdown with
Veronica and
our man Hiram and Veronica. So basically she goes forward and she says, listen, tell your lackeys to back the F off, or I'm going to share these pictures. And she shows like her, Google Images photos from where they're like close-up shots of like the drugs and stuff. And he's like, what are you going to do with these? Like, Sheriff Minetta's not going to care. And she's like, I'm not taking them to Sheriff Minetta. I'm going to take them to the FBI, dough.
I was like, girl, what? How do you even know the FBI? How do you have their number?
And also, like, Hiram does not look shook at all.
That's the thing with him.
Hiram's like not
That's
phased.
the thing with Hiram's episode. I was like, he was annoying me so much because like every time she would like think that she's like getting her dad, he's just like smirking at her, and like that's the worst
because he's
thing.
like 10 steps ahead of her.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think you know what it is too. Like I think low key, he's kind of like proud that she's like going toe to toe with him.
For sure.
But at the same time, he's like, I need to beat her. So like he's trying to like fight that fight. Yeah. And so anyway, she's like, yo, listen, I want $10,000 and I'm shaking you down. How about that? And I wrote down, do you think that Hiram is impressed or scared?
I think he's impressed. I don't think he's scared yet.
I think he's like, oh, my little girl.
Yeah.
My little Mija, just like doing her thing now. I would be proud too if my daughter turned into a criminal mastermind. For sure. As if I was also a criminal mastermind. So then it cuts to the jail, and the warden is like going on a trip or something.
Apparently he's going to the Jersey Shore. He's like, I'm going to Seaside tomorrow. I was like, okay.
He's like, but don't worry, boo. I'm going to be back for your fight. But he's like, but you need to make sure it like lasts longer. Because everybody wants to see like the thirsty blood. Yeah. What are you laughing about? Because he needs to last longer. Nothing. Okay. So then he's like, yeah, like go at least 5 to 6 rounds. And it just seems like the warden is just like, so weird. Like he was just short of like licking his lips and like slurping and like drooling. He's so gross.
It was like creeping me out. Like the way he was watching them fight, even like after, I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like forget even like illegal and like fucked up. Like he looks like he's like he's like sexually enjoying this, which is really weird.
He's 100% sexually enjoying it, and I just felt like it was like very exploitative. Like these kids are juvie kids, so like they're underage. Yeah. They're literally underage.
Like they're in gray sweatpants. Wrong. Like that already is enough for you to look at. Like why do you have to have them fighting each other? Like I don't understand.
Because he's disgusting. Anyway, the warden is obviously playing some sketchy game, and then it cuts to Archie chilling in his cell, and he's talking out loud, and he's like, I don't know what to do, like this situation is pretty bad. And then it shows that Fred is chilling in the in like the jail cell with him, and he's like, listen, you got this, you've been like learning to fight all your life. He's like, but there's other ways, and I know you'll figure it out. He's like, you just figure it out because I know you can. And then it like pans out, and obviously Fred isn't sitting in the jail cell so with Archie. Cute.
It was such a cute moment.
It was pretty sad. Yeah. I will say that was a sad moment for sure. But I was just like, okay, like he's starting to go a little cray-cray. Yeah. I would have gone crazy by the 3rd day. He's been in there for 3 weeks by himself. Like, damn, so sad. So then it cuts to the Cooper res again. And Betty is like chilling in her room, and Alice goes inside, and she's like, how come you told them all about the griffins and gargoyles before you told me? And essentially Alice like throws major shade and says, I trust them more than I trust you. Make any sense,
whatever. Because even Betty's like, Mom, are you dumb? She's like, you're telling them all our secrets and like all our shit. Like they're gonna freaking like they know all our like incriminating evidence basically. And she's like, whatever, I don't care. The farm is like good, like they'll help you.
She's like, they would never use it against me or whatever. And so basically she throws shade at Betty, and then she like walks out of the room. Then it cuts to the speakeasy, like the big moment and like the whole party. And so then Shoney's like on Instagram. They're like using all the filters, taking pictures, they're getting lit. Did you realize that there's so many random moments where they were just like showing Shoney like taking pictures?
There was, it felt very like they were pushing, very forced and very like, we don't know where to put this couple, but because like everyone loves them on Twitter and shit, like we're gonna just put them there taking Insta stories. Like it was cute, don't get me wrong, but like it just felt very forced. And like
and here's the thing. Right now we're in episode 3. Not that I'm expecting like a huge storyline with Shoney, but now that they're together and they're happy, there's no like real struggle with them. They don't fight about real things. They're just like, our relationship is perfect.
I think maybe we'll get that later on, just because right now it's like busy with everyone else. But like it was just
there's just no I just feel like there's no substance. It feels like not superficial per se, but there's just no like real meat to the relationship other than the fact that they're just like enjoying each other's company and taking pictures of each other.
And maybe that's it for now. Like maybe that's all there is,
But I mean, like, sure, okay,
Yeah.
fine, whatever. But like,
I mean, at least
just
they
think
have that. Kevin's out here trying to be like, I'm a singer too. Believe me, put me on stage because I got nothing else to do. So maybe like
there's
good.
you're saying there's worse storylines
Yeah, exactly.
going
Like
on right
freaking
now.
Josie lost half
Fair
her
enough.
freaking like band. So like people are struggling out here, you know?
Yeah. All right. We'll take the Instagram. I was too busy watching the show to check if they actually posted it on like on the like CW Instagram.
Oh my god!
Like the CW
and it was like the
Riverdale
most
Instagram.
awkward picture of Veronica too.
She's like, "Hi guys, I'm at the Speakeasy."
Yeah, it was
Like,
such a weird
so
photo.
weird. So anyway, whatever. Then it cuts to Betty and Jugs, and they're going in, and Jughead's like so lit. He's
cute.
like, "Oh yeah, he's like, I hid like the handbook behind the radiator. I can't wait to show it to you because it's like really crazy. Like there's all these weird images in it. Like you're gonna love it." And so they're just walking down the stairs. They're looking adorable, obviously. And she even like once they sit down, she's like, "Ooh boy, you got some like blue tings on your lips, honey." Like she like tries to wipe the shit off his lips because his lips are so blue. I'm like, what are you guys drinking? Like, are you guys drinking like literal blue hair dye? Like, I don't understand how your lips
how is it
can be
still
blue for
blue?
that
Yeah.
long. And you took like 2 sips. Like, does it just stay your
Yeah.
lips instantly? Like, I don't understand what shit you're drinking. So anyway, then it cuts to Reggie and Veronica, and Reggie's like, "Y'all, we got a problem," and they go upstairs together, and sure enough, it is Hiram, and he's like, "Here's your gigantic portrait of yourself. I thought I would bring it to your
On your opening
place."
night, I'm just gonna bring over your portrait so you can hang it somewhere.
So random.
So random.
But he does say something really cute, and he's like, "I know that you don't want to hear this right now, but I am pretty like I'm still very proud of you for like doing your
so
thing." The one thing that Veronica says that I still don't understand, she's like, "Okay, fine." Because she's also like low-key happy, you know what I mean? Like she's not like, "I hate my dad and want to kill him," but she like kind of gives him a smirk too, and she's like, "I want to show you how a legitimate business is run." But then I was like, "But is this Speakeasy in the basement of a Pop's diner a
run by a
legitimate business?"
16-year-old? Yeah, I don't
Like,
know how
I don't know if
legitimate
that's
that is.
really how that works. I don't think she knows the definition of legitimate, but okay.
Whatever.
Like, Speakeasy in itself has history in illegitimacy, but fine. Whatever. Let's move on. So then they're about to sit down, and then she whispers to Reggie, like, "Keep an eye on this man."
So let me stop right here,
randomly.
and let's discuss Veggie right quick. What do you what do you think about that pairing?
Well, I know we've talked about it in the past, but I'm totally down for them getting together. And I think because he's the bartender at the Speakeasy, he's like lifting boxes and opening boxes shirtless. Like, I think it's just a natural thing for her to eventually gravitate toward him when she don't got her like redheaded like sexy man beside her all the time. Oh yeah, like at the end of the day, like Reggie's hot. Like she's single. I mean, she's
You're
not
like,
single,
she's single.
but, like, she might as well be single. And you know, he's basically single, so like why not get them together? I know that like we've talked about it too, like we've talked about the fact that they're a huge like pairing in the comics as well, and I just think that we're into season 3, like I wouldn't be mad if they shook it up a little bit. I would kind of be shocked if it turns out to be like some next person, because I'm like, if that at that point, if you're gonna be cheating on Archie or like breaking up with Archie, then you might as well just do it with Reggie. But because the one thing that keeps coming back into my mind is during the summer, Cami Mendes, during like the Comic-Con weekend, she said to E News that she's gonna be getting an unexpected like love interest, and I'm like, Reggie's kind of an expected, like he's not unexpected at all. Like we kind of expect that he's going to become the next kind of love interest for Veronica. So I don't know like what she meant by that, unless she was just trying to throw everybody off. But I'm not really sure. What do you think of Veggie?
Honestly, like more than just them happening, because I definitely do think they're gonna happen at some point. That's for sure. I just love their dynamic. Like there's something really cool about him and her together, because they're both very overtly confident like people, and so when they come together, it's like really good on camera almost, right? And like I guess they
Yes.
naturally do have this chemistry. Obviously, like they're together in real life now too. It's just cool to see them together on screen. We haven't really seen it really like this much before. And I love that he's sort of like her servant in a sense, right? Like he's working for her.
Yeah.
And he seems really
And
loyal
like her
to
low-key
her.
protector.
Yeah, like he's protecting her. He seems really loyal to her. So I'm loving that dynamic right now. And like I can't wait for it to like get deeper into that. Sorry, VARCHIE shippers.
For sure. And I'm definitely sure that like Cami Mendes made a directorial like recommendation that his shirt be off at all times, because clearly. So then it cuts to Kevin introducing Josie. He has like 2 lines. He's like, yo, welcome to the Speakeasy, y'all. My name is Kevin. Let's get lit. Here's Josie. And then Josie does a really, really cool rendition of the song Anything Goes, which is originally a Broadway song. And she turns into this like James Bond, like sexy. There's people like burlesque dancing in the background with the shadows.
I was waiting for her to sing La Vie en Rose, Gaga style.
Oh, Gaga styles from Star is Born. I'm sure it'll come later. But yeah, I was definitely down for like Lady Marmalade because it's like a speakeasy, like 1920s. But I was totally into the vibe of it. Again, she looked amazing. Her voice is amazing.
She looked amazing and she performs amazing. But again, like I was missing the Pussycats. I was just like, who are those 2 girls in the back? Is that Hal and Melody? You know, like Val and Melody. Like who? Like where are they?
Where are they?
Like why are they missing?
They literally weren't even invited.
But that's
like
what
it's
I'm
just
saying.
so sad.
It's not even like a Josie, I got beef with you. It's like you are not even allowed on set. Like that is what's happening right now. Like they weren't even invited to Cheryl's party. Like that's just tight.
Like
it's
that's so true.
It's just like I don't understand. Like, and I know it must be a production thing. They don't want to pay these actresses. Like, but just pay them, because now it just doesn't make sense. Like
Sweet Pea was like in the back ass corner, like just like clapping and being happy. Like you couldn't just throw Val and Melody in there for like as extra work. Like come on.
If you guys, like our listeners, if you guys know anything more about like Melody and Val and their situation, and like if they're ever gonna come back, let us know and comment below. Because I honestly, this one I really missed them, because I was like, Josie is amazing, but I think Josie's a part of something bigger, and just seeing her with her girls is really empowering too. And not having them it just feels weird. I don't know.
I'm hoping that the reunion, when they finally do make their way back, is going to be like epic.
Yeah, like its own episode or something.
Y'all better come through for them. For sure. So then while she's singing, it cuts to like slow motion shots of Archie in the pit, like kicking somebody else's ass. And he's trying to devise a plan while he's fighting. He's like, let's make this last longer. He's whispering to the guy. He's like, just punch me. So then there's just these slow motion shots of him getting his ass kicked and then him kicking somebody else's ass. And then it's like this sexy music in the background. So it was like this really cool edit. And then there's like slow motion shots of the warden just like freaking basically jerking off while he's watching these guys like fight each other. He's just weird and gross. Like anyway, whatever. The warden, if you wanted to make the warden like super disgusting, you've achieved it. Like he's done. He's gross. So then it cuts to jail, like after the fight, and he's back in his cell and he's like, good job, like the sheriff. And then the warden comes in and he's like, good job, yo, here. He gives him like a bottle of alcohol, and then he looks at the bottle, and then like as the warden's leaving, he's like, you and I are just getting started. We have lots of time together. The guy dips like a freaking pedo, and then he looks at the
rum
bottle again, and then
was it Hiram?
It says like Lodge Estates, and then he chucks the bottle like through, which is the shot that we saw in the promo. Yeah. It like shatters everywhere. It's like a really cool shot. And then he like trashes the entire room because he's so frustrated. Pissed, yeah. And then he opens a book and then he finds like a little pic. And then I'm like, what is this, Shawshank Redemption? Like what the hell? But what I wrote down in this moment too that I want to talk to you about in a little bit more detail is like, this is what Archie wanted. Like I literally wrote like, are you happy? Like this is what you wanted to do. This like you got yourself into the situation.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
It just, this whole situation of him being in jail is because of him. So I don't want to feel any sympathy for him. So when he gets frustrated and he's angry and he's in solitary confinement or he's feeling lonely or whatever, he's missing on his his high school, you chose this life. Like, that nobody asked you to stand up in court and say, I volunteer as tribute.
Yeah.
Nobody asked you to do that. Literally everybody recommended you to do the exact opposite of that situation. So I have no sympathy for him.
Yeah, it's true.
And in a way, it kind of frustrates me that they put him in this position just so they can get him into like a jail, like a new scenario. Like, I feel like it's a little cheap, but I guess like fine. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, I always have to remind myself, like, okay, fine, we're like watching a comic book television show, but like, this is one of those moments where I'm just like kind of eye rolling because he shouldn't be frustrated. He should just be like, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna like live my best life because I got myself into this shitty situation.
I think he does do that in the end. I think it's okay for him to lash out and feel something. I think like I'm the number one Archie hater, but this episode I really was like, I feel so bad for this kid. Yeah, he got himself into this mess. I still feel bad for him because, you know, life is passing by and he's stuck in there. But I think the way he sort of comes out on top at the end of the episode just shows you, like, it's Archie. Like, he is strong. He makes the dumbest decisions, but he somehow gets himself out of them too. So who knows?
Anyway, I have something to say about that too. But anyway, we'll cut back to the Jones residence, the trailer, aka the trailer, and Jughead and Betty are coming back from the party, and Alice and FP are losing their mind. They're like, "Where did you get this book from? Like, what the hell?" So they find the handbook, and I'm like, "Wow, Jughead, you are the worst hider ever. Like, why is he actually?" Anyway, so he finds the book and he gets mad at Jughead, and everyone's like, why are you getting so upset? Why can't you guys just tell us what you know about the game? And FP's like, this is the most deadliest game ever. Like, I can't believe you're playing it right now. He's like, your lips are blue. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? He goes to burn the book in like the front because apparently they were like having some fire pit like situation out in the front, and so he like lights it and then he throws the book into the fire, and he's like, that's the only copy? And Jughead's like, yeah, that was the only copy. So like, now I'm cheesed. I like freaking almost killed myself for no reason.
And Alice tells him to throw it in the fire. So clearly there's something going on that like they both, obviously we know it, but like they both know more of, and it's something that like has scarred them all these years. So yeah.
The thing that I did write down is like, why didn't he make copies? Like, what was the whole situation?
Well,
like, why did he even need to?
Yeah.
But like, do it. Like, that's your job. Like, literally, you almost died getting this damn book, and you couldn't make copies. But fine. Somebody else does it anyway. So then it cuts to the lodge residence, and she like, Veronica's like, yes, job well done. She's like brushing her hair or whatever, and then Hiram comes in and he says to her, good job, Henny, like, you did good, I'm really proud of you or whatever. And then she's like, where did you go? It seemed like you left a little bit early. And he's like, I had some business to take care of. And she's like, oh, you like went and like moved your drugs around. And he's like, what drugs? And then she was like, hey, checkmate.
She's like, I see you.
I don't know.
I see you, daddy. You're playing coy.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly playing like that game.
Yeah.
What do you think of like this whole like back and forth?
I loved it.
Like,
I like that dynamic. Now she's sort of, I'm into it. She's playing, you know, fire with fire almost. And I love his little like smirks along the way. It's really cute. Like, he's impressed by her for sure.
Here's my thing about this situation. I'm into it for sure because I like to see their dynamic. But at the same time, I'm a little concerned as to where they're going to be going with this. She clearly doesn't want him to go to jail because then she would just freaking book him and then like get rid of him. But at the same time, he doesn't want to like fully go full blast and like destroy her.
Yeah.
So what's the point of the situation? At the end of the day, like the lodges are still winning Riverdale. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, whether or not he's playing her, she's playing him, like, they're all still just manipulating each other. So it's not really a big situation. Like, nothing's really changed. Like, all that Jughead wanted to fix in terms of, you know, the lodges owning everything, like, it doesn't make a difference. If anything, it's just like making Veronica like annoying because she's just like, I'm gonna fight my dad, but not really fight my dad because I don't want him to go to jail, but also I want to get my boyfriend out of jail, but I don't want to get my dad go to jail. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, it's to me, I just feel like I'm not sure what the point of it all is.
Yeah,
but anyway, then it cuts to jail again, and everybody's like, yo, where's our burgers? And he's like, no, guys, this is a more important situation. I was going into my stuff that was left by Mad Dog, and I found a book, and there was a pickaxe in it. And he's like, I think this pickaxe is supposed to represent like freedom and the fact that there's like other stuff out there. And he's like, listen, there's a world outside of this, and we're all gonna escape. And I'm like,
escape literally, or like escape, like make a documentary and then they're gonna like shut down the prison and then we're gonna get escape.
That's what I mean. Because if you mean like physically escape, I'm like, you willingly went to jail, and now you want to escape. Like, I don't understand. Like, Jughead literally gave you an option to run away to Montreal before you went to jail, and you did not take that option. And now he's like, "Oh no, jail is pretty bad. I gotta go."
He's like, the conditions are really bad.
Like, like I don't understand like what his like end game is, and that's what I mean. Like,
no, but
you're saying that he has like another moment.
I think here's the thing. I think what Archie comes out of this with is gonna be a whole new Archie. Like the Archie that we're gonna see when he's out is not gonna be the kid that we knew before. And I think like, I guess it doesn't really matter what he's like, how cheesy this storyline is. I think what it does produce is like a whole new different Archie and a darker Archie, and like that might be more interesting to play with after, you know?
I don't know, man. I just necessarily feel like he's not going to change. I don't really feel like he's necessarily going to change at all, because I think that he went pretty dark last season and he's still like an idiot, and I just think that Archie's always going to remain to be the kid with the heart of gold, which is fine. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, like that's just his character. It's never going to change. He's just going to get himself into situations, and we're just going to see him either get out of them or not get out of them. Like, that's it. So anyway, that's him. And then it cuts to the bunker again. And then it shows them like having sex for the second time or whatever, like Jughead and Betty.
They're still in the dungeon, like they're still getting it on in there, like it's gross.
Yeah, it's so grimy, but they're like, okay, the game is over, don't worry, like no one's ever playing it again. Cut to like the next morning in school, and Jughead is walking through the hallways, and literally everybody has a freaking Gargoyles and Griffins handbook. And like everyone's reading, like Cheryl's reading, she's like, what, this is lit, I found it in my locker. Yeah, and it just shows Ethel like praying, and she's like, I did what you asked, like everyone's gonna play it now, they're gonna join us, all of them are gonna be like a part of our crew now, my king. And then it like the camera pans over the hospital bed, and it shows like freaking the Gargoyle King like moving his hands like he's alive. He's like in the room with her,
or
and
she's
then
just seeing him.
Episode
but
ends.
He's like,
or she's just seeing him. And then that was it. The question that I had was like, how did the Gargoyle King like even get into the hospital, like wearing that whole freaking shenanigan?
I mean, hopefully
like,
he's not like, really.
I'm
real.
checking in to see Ethel Muggs. Like what? Like what are you doing? I don't know. Anyway, we'll see how that goes, but. It was kind of a weird ending at the same time, because like I know they want to spook us every episode,
I thought she was gonna
but at
die.
the same time, like
I thought for sure Ethel would be dead by the end of it for sure.
Yeah,
that's what I was.
When Jughead was like that, I thought that he was gonna say like she did it before, like she went to the hospital. I was like, oh, she like killed herself, like damn, but she didn't, which makes me once again think that she is the Gargoyle King. Like she's masterminding this whole situation 100%. Like I just feel like she has to be involved. Yeah. If she doesn't die next episode, then she's definitely the Gargoyle King. So anyway, that's the episode. Like kind of like overall, like after we've talked about it, what do you think? Like what are you thinking? What are you expecting for the next episode? Well, we know what's gonna happen next episode.
I like the episode. I think it was definitely like a lot happened. I think we still needed this kind of episode, and I think it is gonna amp up for the flashback episode for sure.
I don't know. I just feel like it was a little like tame in terms of like the excitement and enjoyment that I would have expected from it, but it was still a good episode.
Yeah.
So let's do our Twitter roundups before we get into our recap roundups. We got something from at Zipperpole saying his best moment was Reggie's shirtless delivery service. Same. WTF moment was Ethel downing the poison. And then his MVP was Veronica for moving on and totally forgetting about Archie after the first scene. LVP is Ethel, no reason needed. And then best line goes to off camera by Choni and Veronica deciding what to wear to blackmail Hiram. Like,
so
basically
true.
saying like, let's just decide what to wear because like their outfits were crazy. We have something from Postmaster Radio saying best moment was Veronica and the grand opening of her speakeasy. His WTF moment is Alice saying that she trusts the farm more than Betty. Yeah, that was tight. MVP is Veronica Lodge. LVP, Alice Cooper. Best line from Hiram Lodge saying, I know you don't want to hear this from me right now, but I'm still proud of you. True story.
True.
We got a tweet also from at true_Nico saying, as far as we know, homeboy Jughead got laid at least twice in a span of a few days. That's more than I'm getting. Way to go, my dude. That was pretty funny. That's true. And then we got something from Riverdale, the CW, saying best moment, Reggie, shirtless, holding pixie sticks and looking scared. Yes, definitely.
Sure.
WTF moment, Alice telling the farm about the murder cover-up, for sure. MVP is Tony for sleuthing effortlessly, unlike Bughead, who gave me anxiety the entire time. LVP is Penny. What does she even want?
Yeah.
And so best line is boy from FP. Boy.
That's the best.
And that's it. Let's get into our recap roundups.
Recap roundups.
Best moment.
My best moment had to go to our girl Josie singing that song, Anything Goes. It was so sexy. I love the cut-ins between that and the fighting. I thought it was like just a good edit, and I thought it was just a cool moment to watch cinematically and just visually. I thought it was cool. What about you?
Yeah, you're totally right. I feel like the way they shot that part of the episode was beautiful. Like all his fight sequences were beautifully shot. But my best moment was the whole like speakeasy introduction with like, you know, Reggie like Choni kind of walking in, and then like Reggie getting them. Like the whole look of it, I was so impressed with because I just didn't know how I was gonna feel about it and if I was gonna like it. But I think it all looked so good, and I'm excited for more of that, I guess, in the season 2.
WTF moment.
My WTF moment, I think, was the Fred moment, just because for a second I honestly thought that like maybe the warden let him in to like see his son for a minute, and then I was like, oh, like wait, is he like visiting him? And then I'm like, and then when it panned out, I was like, oh my god, that was so cute. It was such a cute moment.
My WTF moment is the final shot, because I just thought I was like, what the F is happening?
For sure.
She's like praying to like a freaking god that's in her room,
like
but
where
maybe
her
not
parents?
in her room.
Her parents are not even in the room with her.
Literally the worst parents ever. Like, we get it. Your dad like has no money, but like, can he take care of you? MVP. Who is your MVP?
My MVP is gonna go to our girl Veronica. I think she absolutely like slayed this episode. She was on top of every single like aspect. She went and did it. She did it on her own. You know, like she just got everything done.
I'm actually going to one-up you and say she didn't quite do it on her own, because my MVP is going to Reggie freaking Mantle for the first time ever coming out of JLAG's lips. It's Reggie. I'm into him. I think that he's stepping forward, not even just as like her protector, but also I think that his character is starting to like build up a little bit better. He was such a waste case last season, and seeing him in this role as this kind of like cool badass like bodyguard type of guy, like I'm into it. I'm honestly super ready for Veggie to happen.
Like, I'm for sure.
Know that
I'm for sure Reggie.
Like, Varchie fans are like,
I'm for sure Reggie.
You're like, I Reggie, yes, please.
Putting it on.
No, I know that like Varchie shippers are like unsubscribing as we speak, but you know, like,
guys,
it is the way the show is
going to go. It's good to spice it up a little bit, shake it up, toss it around, and then put it in the oven and let it sit for a bit. So like, it's all good.
Put it in your mouth.
LVP.
My LVP is gonna go to Fred and Mary Andrews. I think they are literally the worst effing parents ever. Like, their son is literally like crumbling in jail, and Mary's just like in Chicago. Like, she's not even there. Like,
she's just
I
chilling.
just can't. I can't.
Chilling. My LVP is gonna go to Ethel, just because I feel like over the last 2 episodes, she's come out of effing nowhere and she's still a waste case. She almost like poisoned herself for no reason. If she's not a part of this Gargoyle King situation, like legitimately, I'm gonna be like, what the hell's happening?
Like at this
Why
point,
is
she should
even
be the
in
Gargoyle
story?
King, because it's like, girl, you did right at least. Like you did something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope, you know what it is? Actually, I think that I hope that the mystery is that she is, and then she goes on the run.
Ooh.
Like, I'm down for like a murder mystery that like allows her to just like hide and be creepy and spooky around other people. Like they're like, Ethel's back, but it's like also the Gargoyle King. Also, it's her.
The best line.
My best line, I have 2, and they're both from Veronica Lodge. And the first one is when she's
Veronica Lodge.
when she's like, I'm up to my eyebrows in bills. And then her second one was you don't take the subway to the Met Gala. I was like, this girl.
This girl, she's so
good,
Shay.
so good.
My best line goes to Ethel, as much as she was my LVP. She said when she's telling Jughead to meet her at Dilton's bunker, she's like, just you. She's like, sorry, Betty. She's like, no matter how hard you try, you'll never be worthy.
Yeah,
And
it was like
like,
it
I
was
was
like a
like,
mic drop. It was like,
you're
yo,
so
I just said that. Like, what are you gonna do?
She just got slapped in the face.
Yeah.
She's like that GIF where like everybody like gets thrown back. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
like literally.
Except
like,
she has no friends,
she
so
got
like it
told.
just be her in the corner.
Her like just jumping back and there's nobody there. That's the episode, guys. Let us know what you thought about it past the people who got to comment. Make sure you guys are commenting on YouTube to let us know how you guys thought about the episode and what you guys are expecting for the next few. I know that we're getting the big huge one, the flashback episode, but it's not coming back next week. It's going to come back the following week, November 7th. Right. So we're going to have to wait a week. We'll try to be around and do something crazy. I don't know, we'll see, but yeah, we're super excited for that too, because that looks crazy amazing. Very, very excited about it.
And don't forget, guys, we have a crazy special event coming up this Friday, October 26th, for the premiere of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That's premiering on Netflix on Friday. So we are going to be hosting a cool night on Friday. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to do like a watch and tweet for the first episode starting at 8. And then at 9, we're going to have a live roundtable discussion.
For the first time ever, we are going live to air. So you guys have to be ready for that. Make sure that you guys are on Twitter, because we're going to be checking your tweets and letting us know what you guys thought about the first episode of Chilling. Yeah, super, super exciting. NBEA and I are like going to get our popcorn ready. We're going to get our like candy ready for the Halloween times.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's going to be an amazing episode.
I'm super excited.
So I'm really excited just even for Sabrina, and then to watch it all with you guys, because I feel like a lot of our Riverdale fans are going to be coming over and watching Sabrina with us. So be sure to follow us on Twitter at recap_rewind. Our Instagram is the same, and just be connected with us, because we are going to be dropping some cool content over the next couple of days. So you want to be in the loop. So yeah,
that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.